Congressman, thank you so much. And now, friends, the man you came to see, the long-distance runner that a lot of us first met at Western Conservative Summit. He's come so far and intends to go farther still. Rick Santorum.
Thank you very, very much, John. I appreciate it. Thank you for hosting us here at Colorado Christian University. It's great to be here. Although I'm here and I miss this great looming presence that's not here with us. Your president and my friend Bill Armstrong. And I know everybody's the last few days have been reaching out to me and my family through the difficult situation that we had to go through this past week with our daughter Bella. And I will just say to you that first and foremost, thank you all so very, very much. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I just talked to my wife as we were on the way over here. And thank you so much for all those prayers. They not only lifted us up, but without question, they had a miraculous effect on our little girl Bella. And she is on her way to a full recovery. And hopefully, if things work out, she'll either be home later today or first thing tomorrow morning. So let me just thank you all for those prayers. I appreciate that. Our prayers also go out, and as I mentioned that, I just encourage everybody, and I know you are here at Colorado Christian, but for all those who are not here from the campus, to put our prayers out to a great Coloradan, a great man, a great United States Senator, a great conservative leader, someone who, as I wrote on his little get well card, and a true statement, as a role model for me, as he was. I didn't get a chance to serve with him in the Senate, but I observed him when I was in the House and out of public life. And he is, in fact, that great statesman that is a rare breed in politics. And I miss him here today. I thank him for opening up the opportunity for us to be here. But I just want to give a shout out to your great President, Bill Armstrong, and thank him for his kindness to me. And please pray for him and as he goes through his health challenge today here in Colorado. So. Let me thank everybody who is up here, standing literally behind me, but also at my side. We're very, very excited to see these gentlemen and this young lady, Jane, here with me today. And thank you so much for all of your support. And these are folks who have, in the case of certainly Tom Tancredo, has been a conservative stalwart, has made a huge impact on the state of Colorado, obviously a huge impact on this country, and his stalwart conservatism and his, well, if there is the definition of a non-composite candidate, it's Tom Tancredo. So, he is 100% authentic. And so thank you very much, Tom. And Senator, thank you for stepping forward, and your colleague from the Senate for your support, and Sean and all the rest for being here and for helping us out today. And I want to thank Bobby Schaefer, who is a school principal. So he's which is really amazing. I just think it's great that Bob Schaefer now is a school principal at a Christian school and here in Colorado, and he could not be with us, but he's here in spirit. And we just want to thank everybody for stepping forward, and former Lieutenant Governor Jane Norton also for her endorsement, and the others. This is a great group of folks that represent the breadth of support that we have here in Colorado. And I've said repeatedly as I've been in this state, and I think Tom said it very well, this race is just beginning. There's only 4 states have spoken. There's 46 others, or excuse me, under President, 53 others that, according to President Obama. But if you throw it, technically he's right in this primary process, because we have 7 other District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, others get a chance to speak. So there are 53 others, and they can actually say truthfully there are 53 others that are going to speak in this primary process. And we're going to work state by state by state. A lot of folks have said, well, you know, these caucuses are not that important and everything is focused on Super Tuesday. You show them different here in Colorado. You stand up here and you change this race, or you can do it. So we are going to go out and stand up for the conservative alternative. Not the conservative alternative to Mitt Romney, the conservative alternative to Barack Obama. That's what we're going to focus on. We're not going to get down and dirty on the personal attacks. I've had plenty of opportunities that the media has tried to serve up to me like a beach ball to hit, and I have decided to let the ball fall to the ground. I'm not going to criticize someone because they went out into the private sector and engaged in capitalism and made money and had successes and failures. Don't we all have successes and failures? I'm not going to criticize someone who worked hard in their service in public life and went out and took the skills that they accumulated to help companies who had problems with the government. That's exactly what our First Amendment guaranteed, and I'm not going to criticize someone for doing that. That's perfectly fine with me, and there are more important issues in this race. This race is about, candidly, the future of Western civilization. I don't think I can state it any more clearly. We are that, as Reagan said, that shining city on the hill. We are that country that is different than every other country in the history of the world, that believed in God-given rights, believed in limited government so people could live according to God's will and be able to raise their family and their children and build a great country from the bottom up. That's what America's all about. That's the seed we planted. And any other country that has seen progress in the last 200 years is because they borrowed from America, because they tried to be more like us. Humankind advanced more in the last 235 years than it did in the previous 2,000, because we liberated the human spirit, we liberated the God-given potential of every person, because we believed in the dignity of every person. That's what made America different. We all, our ancestors, my father and my grandfather, came from other countries who didn't believe that, who believed that the elite in society should govern those who are, less well-bred, of a different class. Well, that's never been the situation in America. And we transformed the world. And now we have seen the siren song of the elite in society saying, no, we can take care of you better than you can take care of yourself. Trust us, it'll be easier for you. You'll be more secure. The siren song of government taking and robbing you of your freedom, but in exchange for that, some level of security and comfort. It is a siren song that has been adopted by most of the world. And just like the sirens in ancient mythology, go back and read what the sirens did once you arrived on that island. They devour you. They destroy you. They consume you. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot listen to the siren song. We cannot listen to President Obama, and we can't listen to those within our party who want to be just a little bit less than what the Democrats and the left is doing to our country. We need someone who can create a strong and bold contrast. Back in 1980, we were faced with less of a stark contrast with the sense of what's happening to our country today, but certainly one that was a similar moment in American history. And the people of Colorado, the people of this country, and Republicans, had a choice to make between someone who could win in the sense that, they weren't going to really upset too many people, and therefore we could probably cobble together a group of folks that might vote for him, as opposed to someone who was bold and believed in the very essence of America, and that wasn't at stake at that time, and was willing to go out and trumpet that message, lead boldly. And they said, don't do that, he can't win. Everybody, when you mention the name Ronald Reagan now in conservative circles, and even among the left, it's like the movie Blazing Saddles. I don't know if you remember that movie. Now, why would I talk Ronald Reagan and Blazing Saddles? Well, he's an actor, that's number one. If you ever saw the movie Blazing Saddles, when the name Randolph Scott was said during Blazing Saddles, they all paused and they had a chorus, Randolph Scott. As this epic figure in Western films. Well, that's what we say now when Ronald Reagan said, oh, Ronald Reagan. What a great man. Back in 1980, Ronald Reagan wasn't a great man. Oh, he was a great man, but nobody recognized it then. He was just a man who was a conservative governor of California who was far too radical to ever be elected. Someone who was too dangerous. Someone who wasn't a composite candidate. And the people of the Republican Party didn't listen to the folks, the experts. I dare say if the cable news shows were as preeminent and predominant as they are today, Ronald Reagan would have never been elected in 1980 to the Republican primary. Because you all would have listened. If you look at the polling numbers in Florida, who had the highest favorable ratings by far of anybody in the state of Florida? Me. Me. But see, all the cable channels that all those voters watched said I couldn't win. And so they didn't vote for me. If the cable channels had existed back in 1980, there would have been no Ronald Reagan. Don't trust them. Trust yourself. Trust your own judgments. Do what you think is right, not what the pundits say that you need to do. I thank all of our endorsers, both present and not, for standing up and not going for the composite candidate, not going for the safe choice, stepping up and doing what was necessary at a time when our country needs that bold and different leadership. And I thank you, and I thank them, and I hope that they've encouraged you and hope to persuade you that on Tuesday you can go out here in Colorado and reset this race all over again. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take any questions. Questions from the press, and then we'll meet and greet for a little bit. If there are any questions from the press in the back or in the front?
Sure. You have a new ad out comparing Newt Gingrich to Speaker Pelosi. Is that the kind of attack that you just said that you've been avoiding? And in what ways is Speaker Gingrich like Speaker Pelosi?
Well, what I talked about was policy. I didn't attack the Speaker for working for a company or for, things that he did in his past, in his life. I went out and focused on the policy differences between Speaker Gingrich and me. I think that's fair game. Yes. I don't know of any voters out there who don't think we can differentiate ourselves when we have different opinions on public policy that affect the American people. Yes, I'll be very direct. And in that ad, it's an accurate ad. Speaker Gingrich supported a government mandate. He supported for 20 years. Supported a mandate that the federal government could force every single person in America as a condition of breathing to purchase private health insurance. He supported that for 20 years. He only abandoned it a few months ago. Secondly, Speaker Gingrich supported cap and trade. Sat on a couch with Nancy Pelosi. I think it's an accurate, he sat on a couch with her. It's not like I'm, pulling out some relationship that didn't exist. He sat on a couch with her and promoted that we need to do something about man-made global warming. And he, in fact, supported cap and trade with business incentives. I guess that makes the blow a little easier. But he supported cap and trade up until just a few years ago. Number three, when by the way all the science was debunked and he ran for the hills. Number three, he supported the Wall Street bailouts. He came out and said, "I'm for it." I'm not exaggerating. He still says that it was the right thing to do. And number four, on the issue of illegal immigration, he is for a path to I don't know what you call it, legal status for certain immigrants who came to this country illegally. You can call it amnesty. There you go. Well, let the expert hear it. So those are four accurate things, four of which he doesn't dispute. And those are four things that are in common with both Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. It is an accurate ad, And here's the interesting thing. If you look at those 4 issues, and you look at the last election, what 4 issues were more salient in the last election than those 4 issues? I mean, they were the hot button issues. It's going to be the hot button issue. Obamacare. How can we put up a candidate, one in Newt Gingrich who supported a mandate, and one in Barack Obama, and I get them mixed up sometimes, Mitt Romney, one in Mitt Romney, whose health care plan was and is the template for Obamacare, and whose supporters have said that he wants to form a commission to actually go out and promote Romney Care to the rest of the country. Not a federal mandate, but go out and promote state mandates for health care. How are we going to, why would the Republican Party, why would the people of Colorado nominate somebody for our party who would give away the most important issue in this race and turn it from one of the most defining issues of our time to one that will be a negative toward us by having Romney be the author and founder of Obamacare? This is why you need to reset this race.
Senator, you said you want to be the conservative alternative to Barack Obama, not Mitt Romney, but your ad is really clearly going after Gingrich, and you said the lesson in Florida yesterday was that Gingrich is not a viable alternative to Mitt Romney. Do you need to take on Romney more aggressively to sort of prove the differences?
Well, I think if you look at the last few debates, I've taken him on pretty aggressively, and I think I did a pretty good job here today. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars, so I've got to focus my attention on where I think we can consolidate our gains. And what I saw from all of the polling in the past couple of primaries, very interesting that if you look at the voters who voted for me and where they would go if I was not in the race, it would be divided between Romney and Gingrich, actually more toward Romney than Gingrich. Interestingly enough, if Newt's out of the race, almost all of his votes come to me. So I really believe that Newt is portraying himself, and successfully so far, as the anti-Romney candidate and the one that can win. And that people are voting for Newt not because they necessarily think he's the best candidate, it's because they think he can win. And otherwise, I think they'd vote for me, which is pretty obvious. So I feel like we need to make the case that someone with the issues that he has, both as I do in this ad, public policy-wise, he does not match up well. One of us may be able to beat Mitt Romney. But that's not the goal, folks. Right. The goal is to beat Barack Obama. Yeah. And Barack Obama and $1 billion of TV ads and the mainstream media will destroy either Romney or Gingrich. They will make them the issue in this campaign. Mitt Romney's big selling point to Republicans is I can win because I have the most money and the best organization. Guess what? In the fall, he won't have the most money and he won't have the best organization. I don't care how much money he raises. He won't have as much as Obama because Obama's just, all he's doing is saving it. And he won't have the mainstream media on his side helping him out like it is in this race. So understand, money and organization is not going to win this election. It's ideas and character and principles and somebody that the American public can relate to who's going to do the job that they promised they would do.
Senator, your strategy in Iowa was picking a place and sticking to it. Now you've been to 4 states in 2 days. Why not just pick one state and really work it rather than this scattershot?
Well, it's a very different, it's very different. You can't, on a grassroots level, have a huge impact in a week by doing public appearances. That's, I wish we had a month to spend in Colorado. I wish I had a month to spend in Colorado, period. It's a beautiful state. Go skiing. There's lots of things I'd like to do, but no, you can't run a grassroots campaign, if you will, by going out and doing a whole series of town hall meetings and doing what we did in Iowa. And when you have, week by week, new caucuses and primaries coming up. And so we're running a different kind of strategy. We are running a grassroots campaign here. We've got an office, and we have phone banks going and the whole 9 yards. But as far as the pattern that I want Iowa is not a pattern that can be replicated in the future.
Senator? Mr. Gingrich said last night that he was ready to go all the way to the convention. Do you think the senator can do that?
Yeah, look, well, of course, because we're going to win. So. Anybody else? Yes.
I've heard from a few conservatives now that they say, I like Santorum on the issues better than anybody else, but he lost his Senate race in his home state by a wide margin. That's what's giving them pause. How do you answer that when you hear people say that?
Well, if I was the only one that lost in 2006, then that would be a legitimate thing. If everybody else in the state won and all the other senators that were in competitive races won, but every other senator, incumbent and otherwise, who ran in 2006, it was in a competitive race, lost. We lost 5 congressmen in Pennsylvania that year, 5 incumbent congressmen. We lost the House of Representatives by the biggest margin that we've ever lost it. And we also lost the governor's race by 5 points more than I lost. So, we lost 23 of 33 Senate races in the country. So, it's one thing to say, well, he was way out of step and he lost when everybody else was winning. It's another to say he got swept out on the tide with everybody else and he refused to compromise. And I did. I stood up for what I believed in. I didn't want to run to the middle and say I was something I wasn't. I went out and gave speeches about the problems of entitlements, of Medicare and Social Security, at a time when that was not a very popular thing to say. We weren't running huge deficits. I was out there sounding the alarm that the Tea Party later sounded about what we need to do with our entitlement programs. I was out there talking about the threat of Iran, not just Iran with the development of a nuclear weapon, but Iran and its presence in Central and South America, all of which now everybody talks about. I talked about we had to win the war in Iraq and not withdraw. And again, at a time when people were saying we needed to get out. So, yeah, I lost, but I found out one thing very important, that there's one thing worse than losing, and that's sacrificing your principles to try to win when you shouldn't.
Senator, thank you so much. We need to get the senator on the road to Colorado Springs in about 10 minutes, and we also need to clear this room and reset it so we can go back to being a college classroom in here real quick. But I think there's 10 minutes for the senator to shake some hands and say hello, and those of you that are here who are not CCU students, give the courtesy that the students would get up first to shake the hand of a potential president of the United States. Thank you all so very much for coming today. Come on back to Colorado Christian University.